True Racing Podcast.
Hello and welcome on another True Racing podcast. My name is Jiří Košta and today my guest is Williams Esports sim racer and former F1 Esports series driver Martin Štefanko. Hi Martin.
Hey man.
How are you?
I'm good, really good.
Okay, so let's start our podcast with a basic question for start. When did it came the very first time you wanted to be a professional virtual driver?
I think the thought first came in like 2017, maybe 2018 when F1 Esports came to life. That's like the first time when I thought that it would be, or it could be possible to one day be a professional sim racer. But that's probably the first time I would say.
Cool. And what was your first computer game? And it was your first racing game as well, or not?
My first computer game, that's a long time ago. I started gaming when I was like 4 years old. So I'm pretty sure the first computer game was not a racing game. I'm pretty sure that the first game that I remember is probably Wolfenstein 3D back in the day.
That's not too much for a child, I would say.
But my first racing game, I remember two, F1 1998 on PS1 and Need for Speed 3 Hot Pursuit on PS1 as well.
How much do you have to train for esport himself?
Well, I train for like 3-4 hours a day. For me, it's enough because I've been racing for so long, so I have a lot of experience, so that helps me a lot. So I don't need to practice as much as some other guys. I feel like some other guys practice for like 6 to 8 hours to be fast. I just need like 3-4. So yeah, I train depending on how much I need to.
I would say it certainly has to be very difficult to enhance. Is physical endurance also important for you?
Yeah, in some races, for sure, it is important. Especially in endurance racing, it's really, really important. I mean, even in the last race that we had, I struggled a lot physically at the end. Like my legs were hurting, my arms were hurting, and my back was hurting as well. So, yeah, it was not nice at the end. But yeah, in some cases it can be quite physically demanding if the race is long. But if the races are like shorter, or if it's like a sprint race or whatever, then I guess it is not that much important. But yeah, I would say it has some good effects if you're like physically prepared.
And how can one people get to the sport where you are racing? Because everybody has computers or PlayStations at home, but to be professional, it's not so easy, I would say.
No, well, first of all, you need a set of wheel pedals. That's the first thing, because you can't race on a keyboard or with a pad. That's just impossible at this level, especially. But yeah, you need talent. That's one thing. You just need talent. I mean, it is gaming, but you need actual talent for this. I mean, if you are a good gamer, it doesn't mean that you will be good in this sport. You really need to have actual talent. So talent, a lot of hard work. I would say you need to put in a lot of hours, a lot of hard work to get to this level, because you can't just turn on the game and be immediately competitive. It just doesn't work like that. So yeah, talent and a lot of hard work. That's what it is.
Mm-hmm. After your talent and some experience, you won the test in the Formula Renault, with which Carlos Sainz or Pierre Gasly also raced. What was it like for you, and what about Gforces in that car?
I mean, it was very enjoyable. It was my first experience in a racing car. Though on that day it was very cold, it was also raining, so I couldn't, or I didn't want to drive the car at full speed, because at the back of my head I was like not scared, but I was worried that I'm gonna do a mistake or that I'm gonna crash, because I've never been on a real racing circuit before. So,
I would say you had a big respect for that.
Yeah, big respect for the car and so on, and yeah, so I couldn't drive the car at full speed, so it's a bit hard to compare. I mean, if I had a chance now, and then I probably would be able to give you like more info about what was it like. 'Cause, and the Gforces, I mean, the Gforces were definitely there. That's the only thing that's missing in sim racing. I mean, it's very, very realistic these days, but the only thing that is really missing is the Gforces, which I'm not sure if we'll be able to simulate at some point, but maybe. But yeah, I mean, yeah, the Gforces are there. It's not that bad, but if you're not used to stuff like this, you will probably get sick pretty quickly, as I did, because I was not used to this. So after like 15 minutes, I started to feel sick, and yeah, then when we stopped and we drove home, I felt sick the whole day. So.
But still, you want to try again?
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's not my main aim. I mean, I'm just focusing on my esports career right now. I'm just putting everything into it right now, just focusing 100% for it. But if there is an offer for an actual race or to test the car, then yeah, for sure I would be more than up for it. But as I said, it's not the main motivation or the main goal right now, I would say.
Probably you know the Cem Bolukbasi, who raced also with you in F1 Esports series, and now he's racing in F3 Asia or in GT4 European series, so possibilities are there maybe. Or maybe you remember Jan Madenbra, who won the GT Academy.
Yeah, I know both of those guys, so yeah, especially Cem. I've raced with him on a couple of occasions. I mean, he's a great guy, and apparently, I mean, it's visible that he's got actual talent on the real racing track as well. So yeah, good on him. And if a similar opportunity, maybe comes my way, and yeah, I will be very happy. But again, it's not the main goal right now.
Okay, so we will see in the future. Hopefully, you will get in there. But you never know in these hard days. And at Williams Esports, you are also help as a racing engineering for F1 Esports. Do you think that when you finish virtual racing, something like this will be the way to go?
Yeah, I mean that's kind of my aim as well, because when you're in a sport, it's different than when you have a normal job. Because when you have a job, you work till you're like 70 or 60, 70 or whatever, then you retire. But here in sports or in esports, you can do this until you're like 30, 35, maximum like 40, and then what do you do then? So it's really important, not only in sports but in esports as well. Sorry, to learn new skills or improve other skills in other areas in that sport. So that's why you see. In some real sports, you see players retiring and then becoming managers or coaches or whatever, and that's the kind of thing that I'm trying to do here as well. I'm trying to learn the skills and improve myself in managing and maybe put myself in a position of a coach or something like that. So yeah, that's definitely what I'm looking at, and I mean it's a bit too much in the future right now, because I'm only 22, so I think I still have a long career ahead of me before I even get to that. But yeah, I think this would be the way to go, I think, for me.
Let's wait and see, because last year we also saw 74 years old Emerson Fittipaldi driving during the Race of Legends. So.
Yeah, yeah, that was amazing to see all these real racing drivers. Yeah, that was pretty cool. Yeah.
So it reminded me one thing. Today it has been forgotten a little bit, but at the end of the 2019, you announced in the end of your career. Still, you came back right after the winter. Why was that?
Yeah, it was a very, very difficult part of my life, I would say. I mean, if I'm gonna give full context, I dropped out of high school at mid 2018, and obviously without education you can't really get a good job. So yeah, at the start of 2019 I started working, long hours, and so at the start of 2019 I just didn't have the time for sim racing anymore and the energy for it either. So I was practicing less and less every month because I just didn't have the time for it. I just couldn't commit to it like I did before when I was studying. So yeah, the results at the beginning of 2019, before I started working, were pretty good. I was getting regular podiums everywhere, but then started working, and as time went on, the results kept getting worse and worse. And especially at the end of the year, it was getting terrible, and I just had no motivation and no time for it. I just couldn't commit to it anymore. That's why I didn't race at F1 Esports. That's why I only did one race, because I just couldn't commit to it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So I just had no motivation, and I didn't really know what to do. So I felt like the best decision would be to just leave it, because I was struggling a lot mentally because of the bad results. So I was like, if I just leave, then maybe things will get better, I guess. So that's why I announced that I'm leaving sim racing. And so time went on, and came February 2020 when I tried out iRacing. I just tried it like for fun, those rookie Mazdas you have at the beginning. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna give it a try, and if I feel good, maybe I would think about it. But I didn't think I would be really doing too good. But I started, and I felt really, really good on the game. And since our Czech championship here was switching to iRacing, I was like, maybe I could give it a try, because they were pursuing me, to come back and then keep going. So, so I thought about it, but I still was like, reluctant towards it. I was like, should I do it? Or, I announced retirement, now I'm going to come back. It's going to be a bit weird, but yeah, it was a last-minute call, like really last minute. It was just before the championship started, like a few weeks, not even a month before the championship started. So, yeah, I decided that, so some people might think that it was like, oh, he was bored or whatever, or what is he doing? Like, he announces his retirement, and now suddenly he's back again. It was not like that. It was a very, very difficult time for me, and the reason I came back, because I was thinking, what if it was just a bad year? What if this year it gets better or whatever? So I was like, I'm going to give it one more year. And if things don't improve, then I'm going to leave for good. I'm not going to come back. So the season started, and as everyone could expect, the results didn't get better. It was still the same thing. So as the season went on, I again was losing motivation gradually, and so I was ready to leave for good. And that's when June or July, I don't remember right now which one was it. I put up a post on Twitter saying that I'm looking for a team, for a well-established team in sim racing, and that was basically my last hopeless attempt. I didn't expect anything at all. It was my last hopeless attempt to make it somewhere in sim racing, or to move forward somehow, and at least be able to do it part-time. So yeah, I wasn't expecting anything of it, but the response was stunning. I'm not gonna say exact teams, but I got 9 or 10 offers in the first day, but none of them were too serious. But then the next day came, and suddenly I got a message from Steven from Williams Esports saying that if I'm interested in racing for them. And at first I thought that he's joking. I thought that this can't be true. I thought this is just a bad joke. This can't be true. Why would Williams be interested in my services when the last 1.5 years were so bad, because I couldn't commit to sim racing anymore? But yeah, it was true in the end, and the rest is history.
Totally, the dream comes true then for you, I would say.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's a dream come true, because I've wanted to do this full time for a few years now. And I started in 2008 when I was 9 years old, so I've been working towards this for 12 years, and now I finally made it. So yeah, I'm trying to make the most of it while I can.
And you are racing in a lot of championships. You didn't start in F1 Esports series with Williams yet. Who knows in the future? Yeah. But You now racing or recently you raced in Formula E, for example.
Yeah, it's a very, very cool championship, and I'm quite happy that I'm in the championship because I didn't manage to qualify. Only the top 3 drivers managed to qualify, and I was like a 10th off in 7th. So yeah, I was very disappointed back then, but yeah, thanks to Williams, I got a spot at Jaguar with my teammate from Williams. So yeah, it's really, really good. I mean, the first race wasn't great, but then I really started to put in a lot of effort, like more effort and more hours and better practice than I ever did before, and the jump in performance is just insane. And now I'm able to match basically anyone on the grid, which for me is quite incredible because the grid that we have here in Formula E, it's probably the best R Factor 2 grid we ever had. So yeah, it feels really good to be consistently now in top 5. So yeah, really happy.
Yeah, absolutely true. So let's finish this podcast with the last question. What would you like to achieve? Because you raced in Formula E, as we said, F1 Esports series, which no one else in Czech Republic can say.
Yeah, to be fair, I don't have any set goals to achieve in sim racing. I just want to be successful. You know, I just want to win races with Williams. I just want to win championships with Williams, and yeah, that's what I want to do. You know, I want to create a future with Williams. You know, it's not like I have a contract now and then I'm gonna look for a team that's gonna pay me better. That's not how I go about things. It was thanks to Williams that I'm now able to do this full time, and they pulled me out of all the bad stuff that's been going in my life. So I'm very, very grateful to them, and I owe them a lot. So you know, I'm trying to give it back to them right now. And yeah, I want to create a future with Williams, and basically be someone like a face of the franchise. You know, like when you say Williams Esports, you think of me, basically. That's what I would like to create. I mean, it's optimistic, but you know, you need to have some optimistic or very high goals. So yeah, that's one of my aims. I'm not necessarily aiming for a certain championship or a certain series. You know, I just want to be successful with the team, and yeah, that's my main aim right now.
Okay, Martin, thank you very much for coming to us for True Racing podcast, and we wish you all the best in your future and in your esport career.
Yeah, thanks for the invite. Appreciate it.
So our podcast is over, and let us know what you want to know about our drivers, which driver could be as a guest in True Racing podcast or whatever. We are looking forward, and thanks a lot for joining us. Bye bye.